We got the baby, you know.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last episode of the season.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Mm.
You could tell it's the end of disc golf season here in Utah with the snow coming.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't let you do your intro.
Oh, it's okay. No,
No.
it's okay. You had to do one intro
Yeah.
this season.
No, I've done a couple. What do we got? Oh God. I'm trying to. I was trying to think of names of like snow that's not just like food, because like, you know how we describe everything as like, it's real like cream cheesy out there.
Yeah.
It's like sugary. Like I was trying to think of something along those lines, but
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
Fluffy and delightful. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
That's
That's what that hot chocolate is. It's definitely fluffy and delightful.
So the Lapa Lapa gave me this like corn-based hot chocolate. It is amazing.
It tastes really good. It is so thick.
It is very thick, but holy cow, it's good.
Dump that on some snow.
Oh yeah. I can't believe we've sat down, and technically we've done 35 of these because one of them we did and the audio got messed up.
Yep.
We've done 30. We'll call it 34 because this is our 34th podcast. 34 podcasts, either sitting here, over Discord, talking to people
On the road.
talking about disc golf this year.
Yep.
Kind of crazy.
That's wild to think about.
I had.
That's what, 30, 35 weeks, essentially.
Yeah.
We've had some great people on.
Yeah.
We
We were really trying to pull something together for you guys.
Yeah.
I even met someone when I was down in Phoenix. I'm just gonna tell you guys. I met Tristan Tanner down in Phoenix, and I was like, wait, is that Tristan Tanner? And Jack's like, I don't know who that is. Jack pulled up his, I pulled up his Instagram or his PDJ profile. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And Jack's like, dude, I think that is him. There's only one way to go find out, though. And I'm like, no, like, I'm not going to bug him. Like, he's a pro. He probably doesn't care that much. But Jack's like, no, we have to. And we go over and he's like, hey, Tristan, like, I do a podcast every week on disc golf. Like, would you ever want to be on? He's like, I'd actually love to. And, like, I kind of geeked out, and his fiance was behind him, like, cheesing up. He was a little awkward, as we all are disc golfers.
I think he was filming a video with his fiance, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
I think that was the day. But anyways, I tried to get Tristan on. I tried to get another pro on. Tried to get two other pros on, and unfortunately they were all busy and just couldn't quite make it work. Unfortunate, but
We'll probably, if we can get an interview with them throughout like the off season, I think it would be fantastic, and then
100%.
we'll just like have that going forward kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like,
100%.
yeah, we've definitely been able to expand and meet a lot of people this year, which has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, this is episode 34. It's the last season of the Bad Throws Good Bros podcast, and then we'll jump into season 2 in a few weeks. We'll talk about that more later, but this is the final one of like what you guys have seen so far this year.
Yeah, the summer of disc golf season's over. Pro Tour season's over. Utah season's pretty much over at this point, with it
there's
being
a few
like
tournaments left.
Yeah, and with it being like, what, 40 degrees and rainy today, it's starting to snow in the mountains, like, we're hitting that winter stride, right? Like, I'm ready for the winter time. I'll still be out throwing frisbees when it's nice out, but you know,
Totally.
for now it's the end of the season.
Yeah. End of the season. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first on this?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. So we're gonna recap like our tournaments, not go crazy deep into them, but like kind of run through like how we progressed throughout the season.
Yeah.
And holy cow, have I made a jump?
You keep doubting yourself, man. I keep telling you. You started out playing this year in MA4.
Yeah.
Then you played a couple MA3s and you were like, you know what? I don't belong here. I definitely belong in MA2.
Yeah.
And here you are, up in MA2, playing well throughout the year.
Yeah. One Creekside Open, I just had a rough tournament. I couldn't put 2 and 2 together to save my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started out the year MA4, went to Beehive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, I did Mountain Masters first, right?
That's right.
I did Mountain Masters first, was an MA3. There was no MA4.
Yep.
Got 4th in that.
A little bit of a smaller field, but you
Yeah,
played
smaller
really
field,
well.
Super fun people to play it with up at the Wonder. And then that was a weird tournament for me because, like, that tight of golf, like my biggest thing with disc golf is hitting lines.
Especially early in the season.
Yeah, it's getting a lot better.
Yep.
Way better. But hitting lines was like a struggle for me, and it still is something I'm working on a lot. And putting, but putting has felt so much more comfortable, not confident, but comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
This, as the season's gone on, so did that. Placed 4th. Felt okay about how it went. Beehive comes around. Play Beehive. First 2 days, played okay. Like, definitely could have played better at the fort. Could have made better decisions at North Fort.
Yep.
And then day 3 comes around, and I'm on chase card, and somehow ended up on a podium. Which I can't remember your name, and I'm really sorry, but if you're watching this, whoever came up to me on hole 16 at North Fort final day and told me to check scores, thank you. Thank you. Because I did not realize I was in second place at that point. But that third place didn't feel like a third place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt like...
You felt like you were just playing disc golf.
Yeah. It didn't feel like I was playing good disc golf.
Yeah.
Or bad disc golf. It just felt like a day of disc golf.
Yeah.
Solitude comes around, and you were supposed to play Solitude, and I wasn't. And then
Correct.
we flip-flop somehow.
I was out of town. I had
You had family stuff.
family stuff that I went to go do. I was up in Washington for a concert. I was like, I screwed up all my dates for everything. I had my triathlon, then went into the concert, then went out to see family in Jersey, and then was supposed to be back to play Solitude, and screwed up the dates of my flights for all of it.
Yeah.
And managed to make it back, I think, the second day, where I came up and caddied for you day 2.
You came caddied for me day 2.
Like halfway through the round.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was like hole 4.
Yeah, it was. That was like halfway through the round because we did play the bottom few holes, so it was like our 7th hole.
Yeah.
Solitude was unlucky. It was just an unlucky tournament.
That course will eat you alive.
And but it didn't even feel like the course. It just felt like I was playing against myself instead of the competition, kind of thing. Which, like, you need to do, yes, but in that moment in time, I just needed to play against competition and play smart disc golf instead of losing a disc, a few times. That happened twice in tournaments this year for me. But
I think the biggest thing you learned during that tournament was, like, moving forward was, like, a lot of decision making where, like, you threw a few shots that were just like, boy, what is he doing out here, kind of thing.
For sure.
And I think you started to learn a lot more from that afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And then we go to NADGT and MA2. We tied for 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Utah State's tied for 9th after a bad last round. And then Creekside just didn't have a good weekend at all playing disc golf. And then we went out to Colorado and took down 1-2.
Yep.
So, yeah, I feel like the last 3 tournaments, I would say NADGT, Utah State's, and
Creekside.
Snow Mountain. I don't want to put Creekside in there.
Okay.
All felt like I played good disc golf, but not great disc golf.
You had very high rated rounds, and I think that's the biggest thing with like when you're starting to grow throughout the season, and you look at it and you look at like, okay, look at your round rating for the MA3 and MA4 events that you played in versus like the MA2 events you played in.
Sure.
Like Utah State's, you had what, a 940 rated round?
Yeah.
Like you weren't doing that early in the season.
No.
Like that wasn't even obtainable.
Well, to put this to you guys, I started the year with an 816 rating.
Yep.
I finished the year at an 866.
Well, we'll see when November ratings come in, right?
It won't change.
Oh no,
I didn't
Snow
play a
Mountain
tournament.
didn't. Oh, okay,
I don't think Snow Mountain. It might, but I don't think it'll affect it.
too much.
But like that's a 50-point jump.
Yep.
The goal was to like get to 875, but
I think it's hard when you don't have enough rounds too. So like
Yeah.
the variables really affect your rating. So like if you do shoot an 820, it will be affected versus like when I shoot an 820, it doesn't get counted.
yeah. And like my Utah State round that really blew up that last round at Creekside, they did not count that.
Right.
But everything else is in here, and like there's some bad rounds in here still. There's but like there's a gap in here where it's like 880, 870, 890, 920, 908, and then there's an 803. But like
Yep.
you can
We all have those rounds, but you weren't having those 900 early in the season.
no,
Is the biggest thing.
yeah. And like my 2 worst rated rounds were at the same place, very similar layout, just literally a year and a few weeks apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't be that mad at it.
No. I think you progressed a whole lot more than you think you did because you don't see like if you go back and watch some of the stuff we did when we first started, you're playing completely different disc golf right now. Like your putting's so much more consistent, even though it doesn't feel like it all the time.
Yeah.
Like if you watch your old putting, it was just
All over the
sporadic,
place. Yeah,
like
yeah.
really bad sporadic. And your throw is like so much more consistent of like hitting where you're actually aiming at
Yeah.
and like finding your aiming point.
Yeah, and like, yeah, totally. I don't feel like I've changed a lot, but like I'm kind of glad we started this whole YouTube thing because I can see the progression now. You
Yeah.
know? And I told this to you and Kai the other day when we played the fort. We tried to film another fort video for you guys. Let's just say we were in a rush, and
It was real early in the morning. We were trying to rush it.
the back 9 we didn't play too bad.
Well, the front 9 you played. The front 6.
6 holes I played amazing,
Yeah,
and then everything blew up.
and then
The
we
first
kind of
4 holes for you were awful.
Yeah.
We don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are fine. 3,
4 or 5.
3, 4, 5. 3 I should have made the island, but I didn't.
Yeah.
4 and 5 were just absolutely. I don't know what was going on.
We tried to film another fort video for you, but we were in a little bit of a rush, and we just felt like it was a rush video. And when we would go up there, if we get another chance to go do it, which
Yeah.
it looks like we might next week
Yeah.
with the weather, we're gonna take our time and like spend 5 hours up there instead of 2.5.
Actually do a warm up, not just like get there, throw a few putts, and then try to shoot.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean,
1,000 rated round.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
Yeah, about halfway through that round, I was like, Ian, if you want, I will be designated filmer for the day. Cause
I mean, I was playing pretty good.
were.
But the thing I said during that round, which Kai totally agreed with, you agreed with it as well, I believe, is I'm not good at everything in my life. I'm not great at everything. I'm good at very few things, but I want to be great at everything. And Kai was like, Ian, shut up. You're a great skier. I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, well, comparison, how do you say it?
No, that was what I said. Is comparison is the death of joy.
Yes.
That's like an old set hyperbole, whatever.
But I ski with some of the best skiers in the world on pretty regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say I'm a good skier, right? I ski with Ross Tester. I've skied with Andrew Pollard. I've skied with Sage Kettenberry Alonso. You know, a lot of my coworkers
Just name drop out here, bud.
a lot of my coworkers are really good skiers. They just don't have a name behind them.
Yeah.
Right? Like
when I moved to Utah, dude, everybody out here was better than the best people I've ever ridden with back east.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like even the pros.
Well-
and it's like just some random dude on a Tuesday up at Snowbird just dropping a 60-foot cliff.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, cool. I guess that's a thing
and
here.
that's just how it is. But like where I'm trying to go is like I have these skills in skiing to be confident in my skiing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in disc golf, I have some of those skills, but I haven't built them into a confident skill yet.
Yeah.
So
You don't trust it a lot of the times with like, okay, I know I can do this. You're more like, oh, I don't know, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing that right. Like you just need to be like, okay, I know how to do this.
Yeah. So, and there were times this year where I felt like I was very confident, and there were times that I wasn't very confident when I should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And then our first tournament of the year was the doubles tournament, of course.
That's right.
With Josh. Josh, thank you so much for putting that on. I can't wait. I think that's a great way to start the season off, honestly.
Yeah. I really liked it. That was like our first time really playing Beacon Hill too.
We played like a casual round there once.
Take for granted.
Oh, Dave also couldn't walk.
I was in a
walk.
boot.
Yeah, you couldn't walk that week.
I was in a boot,
forgot
so
about that,
it started off the
crazy.
season with like basically just being you playing doubles.
was fun.
I was making putts.
You were making putts. I was throwing shots. You were making putts.
Yeah. That's all we needed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Dave, had a pretty solid season, dude.
I didn't play as much as I have in years past.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was just like, I wasn't over the tournament scene, but I was very picky and choosy about the tournaments I wanted to play in.
That's fair.
So like my first tournament outside of that doubles, I was also hurt for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Was the NADGT, the Beehive, not the NADGT, where I played pretty well at the Fort and extremely poorly at the North Fort 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
You were there to see my blow up holes at the end of my
North,
round. And that's something I've noticed throughout the season is I tend to start out pretty well, even if I'm playing like the hardest holes first and easier holes at the end. I will tend to start to lose either focus or just like getting fatigued, whatever it might be throughout the round, where I start to kind of fall off at the end of the rounds.
Sure.
I noticed that a lot at the beginning of the year.
Sorry, I'm like sliding
That was
backwards.
such a jumpy. And then what was my second tournament?
It was NADGT.
NAGT. So another Fort tournament where I finished tied for 9th with Ian, who had a 3-stroke lead on me going into the last hole.
I mean, yeah, I threw that one away. On my favorite hole in disc golf, too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite holes in disc golf.
I struggled at the beginning of the year. I was screwing my bag so much. Like, I don't think I had an actual, like, tournament bag together at that point.
Yeah.
I had some high-rated rounds, but, like, all in all, I don't think I could put together anything really of confidence,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, you had 930, 920, 940 pretty much, 920, 940. You had
Yeah.
a lot of good rounds. It's just,
I played really well singularly throughout the year. I couldn't put together, like, a total thing.
Sure.
When we went out to Colorado to play in, I felt like I was playing very consistent, very just like base consistent disc golf. Like if we went to Creekside and I'm like, I probably shoot like 400 or 500 at Creekside on an average day. That's what I was doing.
yeah.
Like there was nothing special about the rounds.
Yeah.
I think I was also just having fun because I like playing new courses kind of blind as well. So I was like, all right, well, I don't know what the shot is, so I'm going to just throw my disc and let the disc do the work.
Yeah.
I think I play my best disc golf when I do that. And I snuck out a win this year,
You
which
did.
it's pretty stoked on.
Yeah.
14 strokes over the next best.
Over me. No, dude, I was stoked on that. I mean, we knew after day one that.
Well, day one, I got to play with, what's his name? Jeff.
Jeff. And
I played with Jeff that first round, and he told me that his best score on that course is like +3, and he shot 3 under.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, he's good at short game, kind of good disc golf sort of thing. Played really well.
I played with Evan first round.
Yeah, and then second round we all got to play together, and I think I figured out that course a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Put me in first to start the last round, and I knew we were going to a bigger course with bigger holes.
Very big holes.
Very big holes, a lot of elevation.
My shoulder hurt for like a week after that course.
Yeah, you did throw a lot of shots on it.
You have to though.
I know.
Like
I threw a lot of thumbers on that course.
Yeah, I threw a thumber in a tournament.
I know. And then my surprise tournament at the end of the season was Jollies, because I realized it was a Friday, Saturday, so I could make time to get in there. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, day one, you were there. I think my biggest thing throughout the year was finding that I struggle in the wind. Mm-hmm. My putting, especially. You saw the first 3 holes, I could not make a putt to save my life.
Yeah.
And my confidence just went out the door. I managed to pull a better round, second round, but third round, I think I shot like a 940, 960 rated golf. Mm-hmm. And I was super stoked on that because I was like, cool, this is kind of where I know I can be.
Yeah.
It's just getting to be that consistency. I think my season overall, I learned how to throw different.
Yeah.
That was the biggest change for me, was like figuring out my putt during the off season, which really helped going to a lot of those putting leagues for me, at least. So my putt's gotten a lot more consistent, especially from distance. Mm-hmm. And my throw now is a lot more consistent now that I have an actual reach back versus just rounding. So my bag's completely different than it was at the beginning of the year.
You have a few of the same discs, but they fly differently now.
Yeah, like I don't have like really flippy stuff in there anymore though. Mm-hmm. Like I have a lot of like my go-to driver used to be my Havoc, and now that's a roller. Mm-hmm. Like
yeah, very different.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, I could like put a little work in the off season. You're throwing 500 pretty easily, I think.
I think it's just figuring out that consistent like reach back to where I'm not like punching. I'm just kind of transferring weight properly.
Yeah. And when you look at all the pros, they all throw it differently. Like James Proctor doesn't have a reach back.
Yeah.
Right. He's here and he just explodes. Right.
Yep.
Like
he transfers his energy very well through like most of it's through your hips. So if you're losing pressure through that, you're just going to lose a lot of energy wasted there. For sure. But I noticed like again watching us like throw and filming and stuff like that. Like my furthest drives don't look like I'm throwing hard at all.
No.
The disc just goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild.
Smooth as fast, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's kind of a crazy season for us, man. Super fun.
I think I'm stuck playing MA1 next year.
I think you are, because I'm playing MA2. And
are you? Should we just both just play MPO and say screw it?
Yes. Chandler said yes.
Yes. Chandler said yes. We're
okay.
in.
Wait. Hold on, Malachi, Kyle, get over here. Get over here. Get over here.
Ratings don't matter.
Get over here. I don't care about my rating.
I'm not trying to go to Amateur Worlds. I'm almost
get over here. Kyle, get over here.
I'm going to be playing MP40 before you know it.
Play your ratings. You're gonna thank me later.
Are we playing MPO next year?
I mean, you could just skip MPO.
No, they need to
MA1 doesn't matter.
You could skip MA2 and MA1. And just go to MPO.
Yeah. I think we just go
that way
MPO.
you actually make money instead of like winning
or
discs
lose
or
more
free.
Money.
Yeah, well, you don't lose any extra really.
Yeah.
But like, there are certain tournaments I played in. I would have cashed an MPO this year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, you know.
I just wanted your guys' opinion and come say hi to
you can look at the field when you're playing and see if it's worth it.
If Kai Kim's there, I'm not playing.
Yeah, that's why you just want to stay in
exactly.
The biggest thing is like I don't need to win like more frisbees. Like we have. I was going through. I cleaned out my thing. I'm back over like 200.
Yeah.
And I gave away so many at the beginning of the year. Like,
well, the reason for that is they give you all the winning prizes in the disc, so you could maybe sell them to get money.
But then you can only get store credit to then buy other discs.
Well, no, I mean like, well, yes and no.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need funny money.
Okay, Malachi. Why'd I call you over here?
You might get no money.
I'm okay with that.
You might just be losing on it.
That's fine.
That's what I do normally
We
anyway.
We're betting on ourselves every week.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We'll think about it.
That is what it is. I recommend them. I stay with you, right? Like I even did an MA1 tournament this past weekend.
Have you not cashed an MPO?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
It's just I made enough to like care to like like it doesn't matter. I think you have to make over a certain amount.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't do MA1 or something like that. But yeah, played an MA1 tournament and I lost because I have the putting imps right now. But I still played solid. It's not.
It doesn't matter if you're not going to win every tournament.
Yeah, you're not going to win every tournament.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
I
Just play
played
MPO.
MA4 at the beginning
That
of
was
the year.
MA1 and I lost. Still,
Yeah.
Again, 8th place. I was like, damn.
Malachi, I was playing MA4 at the end of the year.
Beginning
Or
of the year.
beginning of the year. Now I'm MA2.
That's totally fine. People progress. They progress.
Yeah. Okay. Next year, tournaments. Since we just talked about a bunch of Utah tournaments and a Colorado tournament, what are some things that you would like to see different next year if we were to do the same tournaments, and what tournaments would you not do, or what tournaments would you want to do next year?
I think
Loaded question, but
Yeah. I think it would be fun to see more of the like pro level layouts and like have like a pro weekend and an am weekend kind of thing. Like I know our fields aren't like necessarily the biggest here, but we do have like a couple courses that can be like that high level. And I would love to see it played on that level versus like toning it down because you have AMs there, right?
Sure.
Like I'd like to just see how it plays, and plus like those same tournaments like the Q series, right? Was not a fan of playing the North Fort twice.
No.
I much rather would have had a pro weekend and a am weekend and gotten to play like the fort twice and maybe throw the North Fort in there once, right? Like, but like having a tournament costs that much. Yeah, the players pack's great, but
That
like
was a great players pack.
it's still a lot of money to play a tournament on a course that like realistically nobody likes to play, or nobody goes out of their way to go play the North Fort. You know,
Yeah. No, totally.
so like things like that I would like to see, like just harder layouts, but like have it broken up more. I think Ben did a good job of that with like Creekside Open, where like MA1 and 2 played this layout, and then MA3 and 4 played this layout, like breaking things up.
MPO played their own layout.
Their own layout, like multiple different like sections for like skill level, right? Because
I think that's also good for a rating thing.
Yeah.
Which I know some people care about, and like I care. Like I want to be shooting 950 someday.
yeah,
But am I at the point where I care so much that I'm gonna choose a different rate or different tournament or layout because of that? No.
yeah. Like I remember last year during Utah States, I played MA1 because I didn't want to play the Wonder twice. Plus, like the holes of the Wonder, you were playing the short pads versus I got to play the long pads, and it was just like layout structures like that, right? Where it's like I feel like based on skill level, like it's like okay, you can be playing these harder T pads, these harder layouts.
And it makes more of a scoring separation too.
Yeah,
Like-
definitely. Because you'll have people that like me will shoot a 960 and an 803 rated round the same tournament. Like, that is something I've done twice now
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I would like to, at least at the bigger tournaments, I'd like to see a pro weekend and an AM weekend. So Beehive, for example,
Yeah,
love to see that.
Brighton, I would like to see that too.
Brighton, I'd like to see that.
I think Brighton's a little bit harder because it is in the mountains. It's harder to get people up there, but like
Hold on, let me go back to this.
I also
think-
wouldn't mind seeing more tournaments at more courses here. I know, like, it's hard because a lot of ours are parks courses, right? Like, we don't necessarily have the ability to have a lot of tournaments whenever. But, like, I know there was tournaments where it's like, oh, yeah, we can't have another rated, like, C tier because there's one going on up at Beaver Mountain. And you're like, dude, that's 2.5 hours away. Nobody wants to go play that.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we have more tournaments at more places going on at the same time?
Sure.
I think that's another thing I would like to see, at least like rated tournaments, because a lot of times the non-sanctioned tournaments aren't necessarily like as fun in my opinion, because the payouts aren't like, you're not really getting a payout, right?
Yeah.
You're like getting something here or there, but like I don't know. I'd like to see more rated tournaments throughout the year at different courses.
Yeah, keep going.
I think that was one of the big reasons I didn't sign up for a lot of tournaments, is I didn't love a lot of the courses we were playing at for them. So it was one of those like, do I want to spend $80 to go play Roots? Not really. But I would also like to like travel more for disc golf this year within the state potentially, or even up to like Idaho and stuff like that. Like I think those could be fun places to go play disc golf at this year.
Yeah. I would really like to go to Flagstaff for a tournament next year.
Yeah.
Like, I
also want to go out to like other places to play bigger tournaments to see like competition, because I'm always curious, like, how does Utah hold up compared to Colorado, compared to Arizona, compared to like everybody kind of has their own like niche thing that they're good at, sort of like.
Yeah.
If you get somebody from Jersey to come out here and play disc golf, that they're great in New Jersey, they're gonna suck up at Brighton because they have no idea how to play mountain disc golf.
Totally. I have a soft. This is a stretch, but I do have a soft place in my heart for Alaska disc golf, just because that was the summer where I took disc golf from like casual to.
This is something I really enjoy.
Yeah, and I played 2 courses up there. One course is, a course that would be great for an A tier. They hold Alaska States there every year.
Yep.
I would love to go up there. Is it a commitment and a money commitment? 100%.
Yeah.
But for the experience, I would love to do that. I'd love to go to Flagstaff. I'd love to go back to Colorado. Everywhere else, I'm kind of like... Idaho looks cool. I think some of the courses look really cool up there, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And then I would actually love to go to, like, Seattle or Portland, like Pacific Northwest, and go play as well.
I like the Pacific Northwest. I wouldn't mind getting down to, like, North Carolina and playing a lot of those wooded courses. Because I'm always curious when people are like, oh, you don't understand, like, the 500-foot par 4 through the trees. And it's like, yeah, I won't understand. We don't have that here.
No,
like, that's not, like, a thing. So I'm always curious as to, like... what kind of discs would you throw? Like, how much does your bag change plus playing at sea level? Like, all that jazz.
Totally. Yeah. That's in the works for next year. We'll see what happens over the off season. We have, we'll be playing as much as we can, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yes, next year travel to more courses, not pounding on the table. I'm just
I know.
emphasizing the table. Play at more tournaments out of state, or even ones in state.
It's funny, anybody that ever comes over and is like always talks to their hands like you do, always hits the table, and I'm like, the mic picks all that up.
Yep. Okay. That is that
Yeah,
for
that's
that part?
that.
Okay. This next part I am very excited for, because as someone who works with kids and worked at a lot of camps and works with just people in general, I do this thing that, depending on the person, I call it different things, but we're going to call it the rose, thorn, and... I don't know. Rose, thorn, and... Dandelion. Sure. So, the rose... A lot of you guys know, like, the rose, thorn, bud. It's very similar, but the rose, thorn, dandelion is... Juno. Best moment, worst moment, and then a random moment that, like... Doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be bad, can be good, can be bad. Just a random moment that you remember. We're like,
it just kind of like stuck out.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
You can go first because you prepped yours. I didn't prep mine.
I have a lot for the rose written down here.
Yeah.
But there's one that stands out significantly more than the others. And that's our Colorado trip.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so fun. Like, in the van for 4
days.
4 days.
Roughly 4 days.
Yeah, and then, like, at my mom's house for a day and a half on either side.
Juno.
Just so much fun. Like, going out. Like, I never
Being
thought...
in the mountains, camping.
Yeah, never thought I'd be playing disc golf, living out of a van.
Yeah.
For a week, even though it...
It kind of felt like you were on touring, but not really. But like, this is kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, and it was super fun. Like, super fun. I would, in a heartbeat, I would do that again.
Yeah.
Like, if someone called me, hey, there's a tournament in Flagstaff, like, a few days from now, you want to come down? And I had the chance to get that van, boom, I'll see it. I'm walking on the podcast right now. It was so fun. It was just so much fun. I
got my high.
Okay, go for your high.
My high was actually Utah State's when we went up to Brighton on that first day. And Chaz was saying how many people came up to him to tell him about watching our videos to like figure out courses and like help and everything. I think that was the first time it really hit that like what we do to like help the community and people could see and like everything else, and it kind of brought it all like
back together
at that time of like, oh hey, like people really do appreciate this, and it
Yeah.
is like helping and people enjoy being part of that community, and I think that was like the highlight. Like
yeah, people also at Jollies when you played Jollies last week.
Yeah,
couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
People were also like, I had 3 people come to me, hey, love your guys' video. That's the only time I've ever seen anything on this course. And we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know,
they're like, I have no idea. I didn't get a chance to get down here and play it, and that was like my only way to like know the layout and potential kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's cool to like see how the community reacts and sees that, and it's just like, all right, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that was one of my biggest highlights, was like
Yeah.
feeling that like sense
Yeah.
there.
Totally. It's a great one.
Yeah.
It's a really good one. Let's see. I have a lot of moments that I'm like, in the moment they were awesome, but like looking back, like that sucked. And then I have a lot of moments like that sucked. And then I have a lot of moments like that sucked in the moment, but like looking back on it, that was actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But my thorn has definitely got to be that last run at Creekside. At
Yeah.
Creekside AM weekend. I had a card that, like, okay card, but I was just, going into that day, I was just on one.
Yeah.
Just couldn't figure it out. So, yeah, that round. Juno is
on one.
Juno, go say hi to Dad. Juno.
She wants tacos. That was your thorn this season, was
Yeah,
that particular round.
That particular round, hole 17 to be exact.
Yeah.
Hole 17 after I teed off, and I walked away knowing that was probably the worst round. Didn't even get rated. It was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I walked away, got hit with the courtesy like warning, and I didn't even think I said anything. I just walked away, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I stepped far enough away from everyone that I didn't think anyone could hear it, and I put my hands in my face or I put my head in my face and almost cried.
You put your head in your face?
Yeah.
Your head in your hands?
Gosh, dang it. Words.
Word salad.
But yeah, that was awful for me. That was not fun at all. Like, that made me legit want to, like, put all my discs in a box, hide them in the garage for a few months, and not look at them.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I had any really, like, really bad moments throughout the season. I had bad rounds, but I was like, going from lead card to missing cash during a tournament kind of sucks, but that was one of those days where like nothing I felt like I could do to change it, because I didn't change any of my shots or anything. I just was not playing good disc golf.
yeah.
And I was with some fun people, so like for me it was easy to like, I was laughing it off and just playing like a fun Creekside round at that point.
Yeah.
Or was that State? No, that was Creekside.
That was Creekside.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really have too many like crappy moments this year.
Yeah.
Like nothing went terrible. I mean, losing a few discs that were kind of like, oh, I kind of needed that, but most of them came back.
Mm-hmm.
I got my cinnamon back like 4 times.
Yeah.
I got my resistor back like 8 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how, dude. You lost that thing so many times.
Yeah, the worst part of this season was probably that I was reluctant to fix my form until like late in the season.
And Kai made you.
Yeah.
He didn't make
He didn't make me, but like it just kind of like the moment I did, everything just started clicking a little bit more, and it's like, all right, I probably shouldn't have been so stubborn.
Yeah.
I probably should have actually like tried to learn how to do this kind of thing, and that was probably like I could have done that early on in the year, and I waited till what, like August. It was Creekside, the weekend before Creekside Open.
Yeah.
Was when I started.
No, it was the weekend before States.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it was the weekend between the two.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was right around that time.
Yeah, it was right around that time frame. And I think that was like probably the shitty moment was like just like mentally not allowing myself to kind of like accept other ways of doing things, right? So.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, and then random moment or dandelion. I have two that really stick out.
Okay.
Why? I have no idea. The first one was Solitude Open. The death putt hole. What hole is that? Like if you go long or right, you're in the ravine.
Oh yeah. 6, 7, 8.
8. Hole 8, both days through the same disc, pretty much the same way, and was 2 feet apart.
Yep.
And I don't know why, but throwing a pyro as hard as I can, like to the right of the basket and just letting it crash, felt so weird for me. It just felt so weird.
Yeah.
But that was my random moment. Just like throwing that shot 2 days in a row. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my random moment. It was just random, weird, super fun hole, super challenging hole if you mess up. Not a fun hole if you mess up, I should say. And then my other one was hole 9 at Brighton, Utah State's. Throw a great shot. Everyone else in my card is like par or bogey.
Yeah.
I'm the only one with a birdie putt. And Luke was caddying for me. I'm like, I think I'm going to lay this up.
Hole 9.
The new one before the par 4 under
The one
the
that
chairlift.
hangs hard dog leg, right?
Yeah. Like
Okay,
you should throw a forehand.
That was going to be mine because
Yeah.
I have a different reason, so go ahead.
But I was like, dude, I'm playing MA 2
Yeah.
that tournament. Yeah, MA 2. I'm like, par is birdie, pretty
Yeah.
much. And I was like, looking at the rest of my card, I'm like, they're throwing strokes. And I was like, do I go for it and maybe double bogey this? Or do I not? And so what I ended up doing is I told Luke, my caddy, I was like, I might lay this up just because it's a little out of my comfort zone, downhill. But I didn't realize till I stepped to my disc. But I was looking straight down in the basket. If I was off angle just a little bit, I would have lost all my confidence. But I was looking straight down, made the putt, boom. And yeah, that's another just random moment from the season that I remember. So
Mine was we were back at the shop after that second round up at when you and I played Brighton. And we realized we were the only two to birdie that hole, and then we looked at MPO and we were like one of 3 people to birdie that hole.
Well, so that happened twice this year. Where
Yeah.
we're like, we hadn't looked at like final scores or anything. We're like, oh yeah, I birdied this hole, or yeah, I birdied this hole.
Yeah.
And then
We're
the
like,
only
there's-
people to
we're-
birdie it were us. And
Yeah.
we looked and we're like, oh wow, we're the only ones. Like, wait, there's only like a 2% chance of like birdieing this hole in our
There's
division.
60 people that played this hole, and there were 2 birdies. And it was Ian and I.
Hell
Like,
yeah, love that. Love that.
That was a funny moment throughout the year. It
That
was
was
just
so
like,
funny.
it was like, how is this like? You know, we play together too much when we're the only ones to birdie certain holes. We're just like, God,
God,
what are we doing here?
what are we doing? Okay. Last part. We're gonna talk about our favorite discs of the year. Basically, our MVP, our favorite, and our biggest surprise disc of the year.
Yeah.
Um,
So, and MVP is kind of like the disc that went into your bag at some point or has been in your bag, and it will never come out. Like, it has that spot. You need it every tournament. Like, it's your go-to kind of disc for whatever you need. Like, you know how to throw it perfect every time kind of thing.
Favorite is just something that was our favorite to throw over the year, new,
Yeah.
old.
Like,
And
you really
then-
enjoyed it. Like, I think of it as like a fun disc sometimes, where it's like, oh, I wouldn't choose it for this shot necessarily, but like it's a super fun
Real quick,
thing to throw.
happy birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Thanks.
Do you have anything to say?
Big things are happening in Utah disc golf right now.
Care to spoil?
Well, yeah, you guys should.
Oh, we've already talked about this in private. The Jordan River Trail.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I wish they'd leave land, but
If you're listening to this and you're in Salt Lake City, Redwood Nature Area, West Valley, we are trying hard right now. This is spearheaded by Scott at Elevate Utah to try and get a championship level course put in. We have a lot of great courses here. We're still pushing to do more park style courses all across the state, but this is a unique opportunity to put in a Pro Tour level championship style course that could bring a major out here to be paired with other courses that we already have, like Brighton. That would be a great partnership with a space like this, and things are moving with it right now. So kind of stay tuned. But what you can do is show up to these attend a workshop, these meetings. There's a QR code that you're not going to be able to scan from this, but maybe you can. Maybe pause, and scan that QR code. Or just go to elevateutah.com and get more information about it. But it's potentially huge for us here, for our scene out here, and bringing big events to Salt Lake City. So that's what's happening.
Sweet.
And it's almost Halloween, so come get some Halloween frisbees.
nice.
Glow
was-
discs. Yeah.
What was your favorite disc of the year?
Gorgon.
Gorgon?
Yeah, Gorgon. I think it's a disc, especially with all of the varieties they have, like the G-Star Gorgon's great for like beginners in terms of like flippy max distance disc for folks. Proto Glow is phenomenal for advanced to pro level players who want to trust something with a little more stability. This to me, there's been 2 10 speeds that got a lot of hype this year, the Gorgon and the Trail. And in Salt Lake City specifically up at Elevation, I think the Gorgon is a better choice because it's got a little more flip to it and a little less finish. And so the Trail kind of just acts like a beast, but the Gorgon is like a new slot, different mold than I've ever thrown from any manufacturer. And the 10-speed slot, that's just really great. So yeah, favorite disc of the year.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. By the time you're seeing this, Ben's birthday was yesterday, so if you missed it, sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, back to what we were saying. MVP, disc that could do anything, isn't coming out of the bag. The disc that you can trust on that line every single time.
Yep.
Favorite is your favorite disc that you threw this year that surprised you, new, old, and then
Just something you enjoy throwing too.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, this isn't the right disc for the hole, but you know what? This disc is fun. Like, I
Yeah.
can throw it on that.
and then biggest surprise disc that is new to your bag or new to our bag, I should
Yeah.
say.
Something that made the bag that you were like, I'll never be this guy. Like, I will never throw this kind of disc. It just doesn't fit. And then you throw something and you're like, holy crap, this is great. Like,
Yeah.
why have I never thrown it?
Yep. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first for my MVP. This actually, because this might be the other one.
I'll go first. I'll let you think
Might
about
be
it.
the other.
Okay. So for me, the first 2 discs are kind of like interchangeable for each other. There was another disc for my MVP, but this MVP was my MVP for this year because when it went into the bag, it never came out, and I tried to find other discs that would do the same thing, and I couldn't. And it was the Vulture.
Yep.
Great disc. I was looking for a straight 10-speed slot or 9-speed slot.
With some stability.
Yeah,
I think
like
it's 10 speed.
It's a 10-speed with like not a hard finish, but like it's gonna go straight and then just a low finish at the end. It's not gonna flip on you. It's not gonna burn anything like that. And it was a Vulture for me. It just like
It reminds me a lot of my Onyx.
yeah,
And it just like, you could throw it into a headwind, it'll hold. Like, it's going to come back.
yeah, great disc.
Yeah.
So that was my MVP for me this year.
I'm gonna
Specifically-
screw up my entire list that I wrote down.
Okay, sure, go for it.
I think my MVP is going to be the Saint Pro.
Okay, yeah,
It's going to be
I like
that
that.
fairway spot that like I think once it went in the bag, I was just like, cool, I need this on every course I go to. Like, it has a nice turn to it. If I don't rip over on it, it'll kind of hyzer flip and push straight for like a long time, but still has like a reliable fade to it. I think every single course I've played, I've thrown that disc on, and it's just one of those discs that like I didn't think it fit a slot. It didn't fit the slot I thought I was looking for.
Sure.
With it, but I've really enjoyed throwing it. I love the hand feel of it, and it flies.
Yeah.
Like I think I could throw that thing 400 if I wanted to.
Totally. Yeah.
That's my MVP of the year is St. Pro.
Okay. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I actually like that more than what you had. Okay, my favorite disc of the year. I don't think it was in my bag to start the year. And if it was, I'm tripping on shrooms. Like, no, it definitely wasn't.
It definitely wasn't.
It definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't. And then when it went in, it was very similar to another disc I had in, but then I fell in love with it more than that other disc for some reason. But that's the Pipeline. The Colradolin Tour Series Pipeline with the big waves on it.
Yep.
Like, not the basketball one that they did, but like the clear one with the swirls.
Yep.
If you have any, please just give them to me. I'll take them off you.
I think that fills like the St. Pro slot for you.
Yeah.
That's in mine.
Yeah. It is a little flippier than your St. Pro, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm also like trying to go take a few discs out of the bag this year. Just like not have so many discs in the same slot that do very similar things.
Yeah.
You know, like. But yeah, the Pipeline. I don't know why I grabbed the Gorgon, but the Pipeline. It was great disc. It was also like, it's just fun to throw. It feels good in my hand. It has a fun flip. It goes forever. I think it's listed as like an 8-speed. Kai said it was a 9-speed, which I know that's not true. It feels like a 7-speed that flies as far and as glidey as a Dimension, the new Dimensions.
Yeah. My favorite disc this year is more of a joke disc.
I know one of the two.
It's okay. It's not. It doesn't fill that spot. It's not in the bag anymore. It goes in the bag for fun rounds, but it is the DGA sale.
Let's go. I still have one of yours at my house.
Do you?
Yeah.
I picked one up for fun when we were at the shop that was on the used rack because we were going to go play around. I had no discs on me. So I just picked one out of the used rack and I'm like, I'll just throw this on every hole.
Yeah.
And turns out, a really fun disc to throw, especially up at elevation. But like, it's also just fun to yell "sail" and then
rip it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have that reel on Instagram of you like at an undisclosed location because we're not going to talk about it because and you just rip it off the hillside into the field and it's just me, you, and Sam were out there. And it's just, and we're like, what the heck? Like Sam, I don't think Sam had ever seen a shot do that before.
Yeah.
So he was like, that's insane.
That's my like favorite fun disc of the year. I think what's become my favorite disc has been the Cloudbreaker recently. Like that's filled that like overstable driver slot. I've just really enjoyed throwing it. Either that or the Strive. Strive might actually. I have so many like things I've loved throughout the season, but like my favorite thing to throw is like really flippy fairway driver slots. Like just yuck them as hard as you can. If they roll, they roll. Like it's a good time.
It's a good time. That's always fun. I mean, I've been learning to love flippier stuff. I've been throwing stable for so long, and my flippier stuff is too flippy.
The second I give you something flippy, you ace with it, and then I give you something flippy again, and you ace with it again.
I did that twice a day this year. I did it with a Gorgon and a Cinnamon.
You just needed flippy stuff in your bag.
I do. Now I'm putting more in there.
Yeah, but I think it's just like finding that right amount of flippiness, right? Like it doesn't need to be like turn and burn on you. It needs to still be like controllable.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, biggest surprise. I'll go first on this one. And that was my candy.
Okay.
Not my candy, my peach.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not your candy, dude.
No, it's my peach. Still Clash discs. Had never thrown Clash discs until we got the mystery box from Josh. And I kind of fell in love with the plastic, the hand feel, and the peach was a 4-speed flippy fairway, or not fairway, mid-range-ish that was before the Detour came out. And I absolutely loved it because I could rip on this thing on like hyzer. It would stand up and just push forever and like not really fade. Or if you got it out like kind of flatter, it would give you that like slow turn the whole way and like slightly come out at the end. As soon as I started throwing this disc, I was like, yep, nope. Didn't know I needed that slot, but now I have 4 discs in that slot.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And the Peach has been like the first love. The Detour's been in and out as I've lost my flippy mid-ranges, but yeah, Flash Disc Peach was by far the biggest surprise for me, I think.
Sure.
To make it in the bag this year.
Yeah. My biggest surprise, which some of you are gonna yell at me, I feel like, right? Maybe a little bit.
I think everybody just assumes that you have to have one of these in your bag. Like it's not,
or a version of it.
or a version of it. But like they're always like, "Oh, you don't throw it? Like how do you not throw this?"
Yeah. It wasn't my favorite to throw at all. I rarely pulled it out, but when I pulled it out, it was surprisingly good. I was looking for a stable putter approach disc that wasn't a beefcake like my Loki, but was stable.
Yep.
And I was throwing Rico, I was throwing tons of envies to try and find it. I pick up one zone and done. And it was a zone. Like, I have a few zones now and different plastics.
I think it was the Z Flex that really did it for you.
It was so the foundation run they did.
Yeah, the Aceathon ones that
Yeah.
were like very straight but like reliably stable.
Yeah.
They weren't like a dumpy zone.
Yeah, and I like those a lot. And then when we got the Creekside ones in,
Yeah.
that Creekside one is not coming out of the bag.
Oh yeah.
No, it's because it fills the slot up between the Loki and my envies.
Nice.
Like, that's just what it does. So, yeah. I think a close second would be, right now, after throwing a bunch of random discs, the Athena, surprisingly,
Okay.
for me,
Okay.
or the FD. Like, I've been messing around with that fairway slot a lot,
Yeah.
and those two are ones that have stood out quite a lot. There's a lot of other discs that I've thrown that I've really liked, and like, wow, I should put this in the bag, and next year I'm going to redo my bag from the ground up. Like, I might not have a singular disc except Lumpy in the back from this year to next year.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like I'm throwing so much differently, and even Lumpy might not make it. I'm not gonna lie.
I think my putter slots are pretty locked in. Like I love putting with my Adams. The Envy's just never, like the Glow Envy specifically, is just never coming out of the bag.
Yeah.
Like
That.
the
Yeah.
the disc just flies so well. It does what it does. B-Flow doesn't come out of the bag.
Yeah.
I'll probably keep some version of like the Candy, like that flippy putter. I don't know that it'll be that particular Candy, but like something in that range.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, my bag's just changed so much. Like I started out the year with the flippiest bag
Ever.
ever, and now I think I have a more stable bag than you.
Yeah.
In some slots.
In some slots, yes.
Yeah. Like I have a Toro, a Malta, a Pyro,
2 Nuko S's.
2 Nuko S's,
Yeah.
2 resistors, a Felon, an FD3. I have a lot of beefy discs now in my
Yeah.
in my bag that it'll be interesting to see what happens during the off season and how everything transitions.
Yeah.
But I don't think I really had any other like big surprise. I had so many things come in and out of my bag throughout the year because of the form change.
I did in the mid-range and fairway. I would say my 9 speeds were pretty. My drivers, like my control and distance drivers, stayed relatively the same. I'd say maybe one came out for another one, but like did the same thing, but was more consistent or whatnot. But it stayed pretty much the same. But anything 7-speed or lower, just everything was flip-flopping in and out.
Yeah.
So,
I think something that'll be fun to do next year is go through our disc reviews and make an actual bag out of
disc
the
reviews.
discs that we like throughout the year kind of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and be like, hey, this is like, does this work as a bag? Because we said how much we like these ones, how much overlap is there, and like, is this just what we should be throwing?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I think that would be
Totally.
fun to do.
Totally. Yeah, that's it, man.
That's it for the season.
34 episodes of this thing.
Listening to us talk. It's wild.
For those of you who have listened to every one, please like go comment below. I want to know who you are. And for those of you who like have your 3 discs of the year, like comment that down below. We would love to hear.
What was your biggest surprise and like your favorite thing throughout the year? Like, I know a lot of people I talked to loved like the trail that came out or the new Fission Dimensions, because they were like, I didn't think I could throw 14.5 speed, and now this added 60 feet of distance to my throw. Like, there's just been so many different discs that came out this year, I think, that were like broke the mold of what was normal,
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
So
Totally. Yeah. Comment below like favorite moments. Like honestly, join us in the podcast and just
Yeah.
let us know favorite moments of the year, worst moment of the year, random moment of the year, discs. Like if you enjoyed this season of the podcast, if you've watched every episode, yeah, it's been super fun.
Yeah. No, I've enjoyed it.
I remember the first we were up at the fort. I think I've told this on the podcast before.
Probably.
But I'm just gonna say it again. The reason me and Dave like started this, we were at the fort one day and we could not stop talking.
Yeah,
like
we were
we talked
Chatting.
the whole way up, throughout the round. Like there was not a moment of silence,
Yeah.
except for like the 2 seconds we were throwing. And then on the way back, I'm like, dude, we should just start a podcast. And now here we are, 35 weeks later, 34 episodes later.
Yep.
Bunch
Bunch of videos.
videos, and now we're gonna take a break. It's our first break
Yes.
that we've had in 35 weeks.
It's our little bit of shoulder season.
Yeah. So, moving forward, we'll talk more about like videos and what to expect. But for now, moving forward, we're gonna take at least a week, if not 2 weeks, off the podcast. Start a new season.
It'll be a little bit more Utah outdoors for the winter season kind of thing. Like, we'll still talk disc golf and stuff that's going on. Potentially have some interviews with some people that I think would be great to have. Like, what are you doing for the off season? Like, what's your training like?
Yeah.
Things like that.
It'll definitely be, there will definitely be disc golf involved, but it might not be every episode.
Yeah.
We're both got jobs up in the mountains, so
It'll definitely be a little more ski related this year.
Yeah.
Or this winter, I should say.
yeah,
So if you're into skiing in the outdoors, we're your guys.
yeah.
If you need lessons,
Kai Kim.
hit up Ian up.
Oh
at
yeah,
Alta.
ski lessons. Come to me. Go to Alta. Ask for Ian. I actually don't even have. Ask for Ian Dalen specifically.
Yeah.
There isn't another Ian anymore. He had to retire, unfortunately. Ian, if you ever find this podcast, I hope you're doing well. I hope you and your kid are doing okay.
Yeah, if you need ski lessons, go hit him up.
If you see us at Alta,
Say
come
hi.
say hi. I'll be the idiot in the orange jacket going way too fast down every run.
I'll be the one kicking you out of line.
Man, 35 weeks and 34 episodes.
It's a lot of disc golf.
Yeah. We have, I think, one more video.
At least. I still got to work. Two
2 videos.
videos. I got
videos
to work
left.
on that one course still. That one's just, it's hard.
Yeah.
'Cause we shot so many shots and
Yeah,
lighting and
it's
everything. But we'll have that one out, and then potentially another short video. We haven't filmed it yet, but it'll take like 10 minutes to film. I know what we're doing. So
Okay.
you're stuck doing it.
Okay. I don't know. I think I know what it is, but I don't know what
Yeah,
it is.
you're stuck doing it.
Okay.
So we'll have a couple more before the end of the year.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next season.
Peace.